All right, welcome back to the Miss Art World podcast. I am your host, Catherine, with my co-host, Samuel.
Ho, ho, ho.
Wrong holiday, Samuel. What are you going to do when we have a Christmas special?
Maybe I'll sing a Halloween song.
Okay, great.
What is up with Jack? What is up with Jack? That's all I got for that song.
For those of you who are listening, Samuel has a very festive pumpkin blazer with a pumpkin shirt underneath it. Can't read what it's saying.
It says, "Oh yeah," and it's the Kool-Aid man, but he's a pumpkin. Isn't it? Like he's a Kool-Aid man dressed in a pumpkin, holding his little pumpkin trick-or-treat bag.
Nice. Is this a 2021 Halloween shirt that you purchased?
I did purchase it this year because I only have my one shirt that I use for working out. And it has like a ghost that says "Here for the booze."
Oh, I had a shirt like that I wore it like every year.
Yeah, me too. But was old enough that I transferred that shirt over to a workout shirt. So that shirt is once a week. I go to the gym that has a ghost on it. It says "Here for the booze."
I like it. And you have your Mad Hatter's hat. Is that
I do? The reason why I have escalated my costume so much was because the first time I looked at myself, I was like, "Oh, you really can't see my shirt." So then I went to go get my hat, and I was like, "Well, what happens if I move the angle down? You're not going to really see the hat." So then I went to go get the blazer.
And now we can see all three. So it really came together nicely for our.
Actually, it's a great costume. Now I'm thinking this is my costume to go to for the weekend.
I like it. It goes well together.
Mm-hmm.
It has enough mystery to be like, is he somebody or is he no one but just festive?
Just a festive man.
So we are doing a spooky Halloween themed episode. Ooh, unless you're Samuel, who's Santa Claus for some strange reason. And so I have been doing some research. And before we get into the main thing that we're going to talk about, I want to share a few things, like some tidbits, some like little facts. I don't know, just things I found researching. It was like no, and then I found what we were going to actually talk about. But I was reading an article that is 175 years of the Smithsonian's most untrue stories, and
most untrue. So they're not
untrue stories.
Okay.
And myth number one is that the Hope Diamond is cursed. And right under it, it says fact. It isn't. A coincidental string of unfortunate events befell its handlers. And I thought that was really funny because it did not convince me at all that the Hope Diamond is not cursed.
That almost sounded like it is cursed.
Yes.
Hey guys, it's definitely not cursed. Come touch it. What happened last? Everyone just died. Don't worry about it. Everyone dies.
And I was like, what? You don't convince me at all that I want this diamond, because something. I just thought that was.
You know what happened to the handlers?
I didn't do much research on it because I feel like a lot of people know that it's cursed, or a lot of people have that perception that the Hope Diamond's cursed.
Mm-hmm.
And I can do more research on it later, but I feel like with its history it's a lot of rich people having the diamond, and a lot of times they're like killed or something like that because I don't know. I'm making stuff up.
No, you're jumping to, I'll add to that. And I think you're on to something, because people that look at the Hope Diamond like, I need that Hope Diamond. And what do they need it for? They really don't. They want it to have social clout or say that they got something. And probably they didn't work that well for their money. So they're drinking and using on drugs because they're rich. And now they're flying their plane cars.
Are we? Yes,
Time.
yes, I think you're onto something. They're playing cards.
Yep.
I just feel like with a lot of wealthy, rich people, they have unfortunate endings to their lives because they have so much wealth and power, and people are always after that.
Which is why I'm never going to be rich. I've told Ashley that being rich doesn't come with happiness.
No, it
Or
just
people are
comes
happy.
with a coincidental string of unfortunate events.
Yep.
Also, as I was doing research, the Smithsonian Institute. So Smithsonian was a man who started the whole thing and was a researcher and very rich. He started it, but then died. But at the Smithsonian Institute, there's a bunch of ghost stories that he haunts the institute. So in 1973, they actually undug his body to make sure that his skeleton was still in his coffin because they had so many ghost stories of him walking around the institute. So they had to like double check.
But like, why make sure the skeleton? Like, have they heard of ghosts? A ghost doesn't need a body.
Well, that's they were saying like that doesn't discount the possibility of his spirit living through the gallery. Like, why does it have to be tied to his skeleton?
Honestly, if you're a ghost, why do you want to come back and haunt an art gallery?
Well, I mean, the Smithsonian, like, I'd haunt that place if I was him. Another interesting story is at the Cleveland Museum of Art, they were getting ready to put together a Claude Monet gallery. And on the last day of install, they saw what they say is a ghost of Claude Monet up on like the banister looking down. And the
Mhm.
picture, you can actually look up the picture, I'll post it. Um, he's like looking down at a picture of himself, and you can see that they look so much alike, and they think it was a ghost because he has this um, long gray peppered beard and then a bowler hat, and it's the lighting is just perfect where you can't really make out his face, but like it looks so much like him. And they're saying that his ghost came back to make sure that his um, gallery exhibit was being taken care of.
Oh wow,
It's cool
we're
that you can actually see a picture of it.
that is cool.
All right, but for the main events,
Wait, how can you see a picture of it?
you have to Google it.
Someone just took a picture?
Yeah, someone took a picture of him and they were like, this is the ghost of Claude Monet.
Okay, but it could just be a person that looked a lot like him.
It could, but
It's fun to think of a ghost.
well, and there's a few comments that are saying like, oh, the museum did that as part of their PR campaign,
Mhm.
but the museum says, no, we didn't.
We didn't.
So I'm gonna set the setting. You are gonna be the character.
Okay.
Okay.
Ho, ho, ho.
It's 1541 in England. You are a teenage lady in waiting.
Oh, hello. Oh, hello there, chaps. Pip, pip, peroo.
Okay, teenage lady. not, not an old broad.
You want me to do English accent? That's all I can really do. Hello, cheerio. Come. I fancy me some young boys.
Okay, your name is Catherine Howard. And you live in the Hampton Court Palace, which has 1,300 rooms in it. Just so you know, has a ton of rooms. And you're fine. Like, you're really beautiful. You got auburn hair, you're curvy, your eyes twinkle.
So
And
I have the
unfor-
perfect voice for that. Hello, lady.
yeah.
Or hello, boys. Look at my
And
auburn hair.
you're the lady in waiting for the queen, the current queen. Unfortunately, because you're so good looking, you've caught the attention of King Henry VIII,
Mm.
who is currently on his fourth wife.
Wait,
Um,
who am I playing?
you're Catherine Howard.
Okay. I didn't
You're
know it was
lady
supposed
in
to not be
waiting.
King Henry. Yarg, I'm King Henry.
Oh, you can play all the
I'm gonna
characters.
kill ya.
Yeah, you could just be all the characters.
Okay.
So he starts courting you, but he's really gross. But your family pressures you into accepting his hand. But he's got his current wife, so she ends up being beheaded for adultery, and then he can marry you now.
Oh, hello, King Henry. Yarg, I'm a hideous man. Horrible.
They said that he gained so much weight that his thighs, you could smell them from 3 rooms away.
Ew.
Yeah. So you guys get married, and unfortunately you are a little loose, and you start having affairs with 2 other lovers. King Henry finds out and um launches an investigation, and it comes to find out you are guilty. So your
Guilty of
last
having too much fun, boys. Hello.
exactly. So the last, like, you have been found guilty, and your last hope for survival, because you already know that he killed his former wife. So you decide, he's in the chapel. So you run down this corridor of portraits, and you're screaming, and you're running down this portrait, and you get right to the door of the chapel, and he's inside, and you get one knock at it before the guards capture you and take you back to your room.
Why was I have a quick question.
Yes.
Since I am Catherine.
Yes, Catherine. What is your question?
Why would I be screaming? Why not the sneak attack?
I don't know why you're screaming.
Dun, 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 dun.
If you did this over again, Catherine, you probably should try a quieter attempt. But you're hysterical at this point because you're gonna die.
Yes.
So,
but it sounds from my voice like I've had a long, healthy life.
yes, you have. You really aged yourself. So this corridor is actually haunted today by Catherine, because she eventually was executed.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can go to the Hamptons Court Palace, and the gallery itself is called the Haunted Gallery because it has such a history of Catherine running down the corridor screaming back and forth. And this gallery corridor is where they've had the most faints from visitors. Like, people will go in and feel like woozy and faint.
Really?
Uh-huh.
You can actually, there's reports of people hearing someone screaming?
Yeah, they say that they hear Catherine running down the corridor screaming for her life.
Wow, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. And they call it the haunted corridor because it's just so well documented for so long that is what she does.
So to give me a little more information on the story, because it's crazy. King Henry had how many wives at the end?
So he ended up having 6 wives, and you, Catherine, were his 5th wife.
It's crazy that you hear these stories and it's like the guy obviously has gone around cheating, but it's his wives that get murdered.
Well, yeah, and his first wife was killed because she couldn't produce an heir. Mm-hmm. So then he could marry a new wife. But yeah, he had a bunch of lovers, and it's the wives that all were killed for it. And they don't really know if she actually had lovers. Like,
It could just been a lie.
yeah, his fourth wife didn't have lovers, but he had already decided he wanted to remarry.
Mhm.
So she conveniently was beheaded so that he could remarry.
Oh, that's nuts. I think that would be really scary to be in one of those corridors, like looking at art, or just even like at night, like sweeping as the janitor, because that's where, janitors mostly get haunted.
The janitors are mostly haunted.
Well,
Is that what you said?
when you see the movie, the people that die first are always like the person that doesn't get paid very well, like sweeping, and they hear like,
Yeah, well, and they're
taps.
alone in that area at night. Like, that's a prime time for a ghost to be like the haunting. Ghosts really freak me out. Like, if I ever see a ghost in real life, I would be terrified. Like, I think they scare me the most out of anything.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why.
More than a real life murderer?
Yes, because a real life murderer, I know what you are. Like, you're human. And technically, like, if I was badass enough, I could try and take the murderer. Like, you're just flesh and bone. But a ghost?
But as a Christian faith, you can banish any evil spirit just by your power of your faith alone.
That is true. You know what freaks me out though?
Be gone, ghost. Be gone. Sends you back to hell. And then they're gone.
Have you ever had any experiences with ghosts or anything like that?
Well, I was trying to remember the one time. I can't remember if it was in New York or San Francisco at one of the ports. We were taking a tour, and that old man just came up and started giving everyone a tour.
Oh, I think that was in San Francisco.
Oh, yeah, it was in San Francisco. So, because there's like a couple of us, and we were walking around, and we didn't sign up for the tour, and this like random old man who was like just kind of looked out of place, came up and started like talking to us, and like took us around and had all these like crazy stories and details and how things were there. And then he was like, okay, I'll see you guys later, thanks. And then like turned the corner, and we were like, is that guy a ghost? And we were like, Chris, go look. You run, Chris, go look to see if that's a ghost. And he looked around the corner, he's like, he's not there.
Dang.
But that's the only kind of like ghost maybe encounter. It's probably just some old man, because literally I was with Ashley's parents in St. Louis, sitting on a park bench, and this old man came up and started talking about the World Fair. So I'm pretty sure you get to a certain age and you just like want to talk about history.
Or you just have some old man haunting you specifically.
Just informing me about what happened in the past.
Yeah, trying to keep you informed. When I was in Miami, we went to this museum, and they have this doll that
you're Annabelle?
It wasn't Annabelle, but it was something like Annabelle. But not the Annabelle doll, because that actually exists.
Yeah. But it doesn't look like anything in the movies. So the movies, they make it look way more creepy.
Well, Annabelle is a Raggedy Ann doll.
Yeah.
But they can't, I don't know if they can't, but they didn't use Raggedy Ann because Raggedy Ann's not that creepy.
Exactly. But it never makes sense. Like, oh, here, Katie, we got you this ugly doll. I was like, ah! Like, you would smash that thing right away. It's so terrifying. There's actually a scary doll. There's two scary dolls in this apartment that could be cursed, that Ashley loves.
Are they porcelain dolls?
No, they're like fabric. They look like, this one looks pretty cool. This one looks very artsy.
Oh yeah.
But so basically, it's this famous lady, or this I don't know if she's famous, this artist. She takes fabric and sews these dolls. So they all have their fingers, and then she paints their face and decorates them. So they're pieces of art. But some watch enough scary movies, every doll becomes scary.
Right. Do you know what the artist's name is called?
No, I don't. Hey, lovely assistant, do you know what the artist's name is? Christine Shively.
Okay. The doll that I saw in Miami, they have a bunch of signs everywhere that's like you have to ask it permission to take a photo of it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't, it will haunt you. And they have all these letters of people that didn't ask permission, and they have written to the doll to ask it to stop haunting them. And so I like asked it permission and took some photos. And then the next day, all the photos that I took from that museum were gone off my phone.
Oh, that's crazy.
So weird.
With that, what were some of the letters? Like, how do you get haunted by a doll? It just like shows up randomly?
A lot of the letters were like bad things were happening to the people after they went to visit it. So
Okay.
really, it could be a coincidence of unfortunate events that occurred to these poor
It
people.
could.
It's not a curse, though.
Just like the Hope Diamond. Do not think the Hope Diamond is cursed. Just kindly ask it for permission before you touch this Hope Diamond.
Exactly. Well, I think on that note, we can wrap up our spooky Halloween episode.
Ooh.
Thank you guys so much for listening. As always, you can find us online at missartworld.com. You can also follow us on Instagram at missartworld, or find our episodes in video format on YouTube at missartworld. Thank you guys. Happy Halloween.
Ho, ho, ho.